Alright, welcome to Damascus, Virginia, and the start of the Mid Atlantic BDR. I am going to do something a little different on this one than I've been doing before, which was I'm no longer going to stop recording when I'm off-road, because I know that almost half of this route is paved, and so if I tried to stop recording when I was on paved roads and only show the unpaved stuff, I would be recording very briefly. And then we are going to set off and see what the Mid Atlantic BDR has in store. Back on a BDR. Have been on a BDR in over a month. Mid Atlantic BDR is considered the easiest of the BDRs per the BDR organizations, though there are still technical aspects of it, and obviously a lot can change based on weather, so you never really know. So what's changed since the Colorado BDR? Biggest thing is this is an adventure spec jersey, which I'm going to be using over the top of my super shirt. It keeps some of the sun off of me, so it lowers the temperature of the, because the super shirt's all black, so it kind of absorbs the sun when I'm in the sun. This just minimizes that. It's still super breathable, so you're not really adding a layer. Switched to the Moscow Moto. This is their Wildcat 12. It's a 12-liter hydration pack, and I added the chest carrier because I'm from the military and I am used to having stuff on my chest where it's handy. So that's holding my inReach, snacks, got some stickers in there, stuff like that. And then also, this is the Gnome tank bag. It's oriented horizontally versus vertically on the tank, and so it's really nice because I'm not carrying my mirrorless anymore. I just kind of realized I wasn't ever using it. I was just using my phone for pictures, and this holds everything that I need to hold, and it's much more out of my way. I liked the Endurostan 4H. I obviously used it a long time. Even when, especially going up and down hills and stuff like that, there were still times where I would hit it. It would be in my way. And this is not. It's so much smaller, and it sits in a different orientation. So even when I stand up, unless I'm basically leaned over my handlebars, I'm not touching it. Alright, I don't know go to dirt immediately or if it's going to be a while, but this is where we're going. So I have never really ridden my motorcycle on the East Coast, like any motorcycle. I was realizing that on the way out here. All my motorcycle stuff has been west of the Mississippi, so this is going to be different. I ended up delaying my departure from the Mountain View Motorcycle Campground by a day just because it kept raining. Also, if you're going to come out and do the MABDR, especially if you're coming from the south, stop at Motorcycle View or Mountain View Motorcycle Campground. Like, that place is incredible. It's perfect. I hope the Southeast BDR ends up going through there, near there, because it's just perfect. They got tent spots, they got bunk houses, they got actual camper cabins if you want to really be fancy. And Janine and Mark are super nice. So he actually has a shop there, so he can do like tire changes and like some basic stuff. I wouldn't try and do anything too crazy there. I had shipped a set of tires to him because I was anticipating the tires on the bike being basically shot by the time I got out here, because I did 1,500 miles of pavement to get here, and these tires already did the Wyoming and Colorado BDRs, and got out here and realized, I've still got a couple thousand probably left on these. Well, Mark is getting ready to go up and do the Northeast BDR starting on like the 11th. And he has a friend who owns a motorcycle shop in Bethel, Connecticut. He agreed to just take the tires up to him and drop them off with him on his way through. So I'm going to do the Mid Atlantic BDR and the first 2 to 2.5 sections of Northeast BDR on the tires that I've had on, and then get those swapped when I get to near Bethel, and go from there on fresh tires. Yeah, they're good people. And I ended up just taking basically 2 days and editing footage. So I got a ton of the Dakota 600 stuff done, which was good. I needed that. I needed to do that. Oh yeah, new gloves. These are the Adventure Spec Dirt Glove. I do also have their Alpine Glove, which is like a wind-proof version. I'm really liking these so far. They're really comfortable. Super flexible, and yeah, I just like them. Alright, first dirt. That's gorgeous. God, this is super pretty. Thing you gotta pay attention to with the East Coast BDRs is the population density is so much higher than the West Coast. All of the Western BDRs, you are generally not in communities and in, these people's homes and neighborhoods. And so you've really got to be careful when you're out here on the East Coast of being polite going through people's neighborhoods. Don't be ripping through here. That's how you get people pissed off and they close parts of the route. Wild turkeys. There's 2 there. Are there any more? Hi guys. God, you're big. Some of these roads are just so cool. A lot of this stuff dates back to the founding of the country. A little bridge. Boop. And I will go back and forth around the Appalachian Trail. Pretty much if you're from west of the Mississippi or north of the Mason-Dixon line, you say Appalachian, and everybody down here calls it the Appalachian. So, these things are cool. God, it's freaking dark back here. Gotta be careful about oncoming, but at the same time I gotta be able to see. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to fly the drone back here. it would get through, but it would need to be going slow just to be able to go under all of the brush. And I'm not sure how reliable the GPS signal would be. I mean, they cut these roads just through this rock, basically, and you end up with these neat little, like, cliffs on either side of the road. This way, okay. That is one thing they said on the video and in a lot of the online stuff. If you're going to ride this route, you need a reliable GPS. And it needs to have the roads marked on it because it is very twisty. There are a lot of turns. There's a lot of side roads and other stuff that if you don't have a GPS that shows you this stuff, you're going to end up off the route. So yeah, have a good GPS. Don't try and do this with a map. There's too many little turns. There's too many little things. You'll miss stuff. I know these are going to be kind of boring videos, I apologize. The pavement's not particularly interesting. That's why I don't normally record when I'm riding on pavement. But it's just kind of what it is. I mean, the population density on the East Coast is so high that trying to find off-road routes across an area is not easy. So far, at least, I can't really say that I would advise this as like an intro to the BDRs, just because you're on pavement. It's more of a touring route. Idaho was a lot more of a good introduction to the BDRs because you're in dirt most of the time. It's just fairly simple dirt, and so you're able to kind of get a feel for riding off-road and doing this stuff. So if you rode this and you're like, oh yeah, I'm good to go on one of the other BDRs, you'd be in for a rude awakening. Oh, but yeah, next town I go through, try and stop for lunch. So far, it's just been super pleasant, you know, it's not difficult. Zoom in, alright. Back onto some dirt. This is pretty fun. I can tell I have a lot of pressure in my tires. It just feels very different. Yeah, I would say already, if you find Mid Atlantic to be difficult, probably go and get some training or practice a fair amount before you go and try any of the other BDRs. Because if you find this to be difficult, you're going to be in for a really rude awakening on basically any of the other BDRs. This would probably be a really good BDR if your interest wasn't necessarily in the riding or the technicality of or difficulty of the riding, but like the history of the area. Because, you know, I'm going to go right by Antietam. I'm going to, you know, there's super historical sites and buildings and events all along this route. It's just not particularly difficult riding. God, it's beautiful. It's so pretty back here. It's just a complete shift in riding experience over the rest of the BDRs, because all the other ones are in the west. It tends to be a lot of really open vistas, dry pine forests, and a lot of times it's at pretty high altitude, and it's a complete opposite experience. You know, you're at low altitude, everything is so wet, and you're around people all the time. Oh, it was Adam Sandoval. He's a big Harley rider. Has a big, real popular YouTube channel. Him and a group of guys came out and did this, and most of them were on modified Harleys to make them off-road bikes. I need to look. I don't know that he actually finished it or not, because in like the first 2 days, I think they lost half of their riding group. Bikes breaking to people wrecking and having to stop, like all sorts of stuff. I mean, I guess I get it, because anytime you have people on dirt, especially if they're not familiar with it, you run the risk of stuff happening. Oof. And if you're losing 3 or 4 people in the first couple of days, yeah, you're planning. There's something wrong with your planning process and your prep at that point. The problem I think I'm going to have with video and stuff is all of it looks the same. You know, you're just surrounded by trees. And it's going to be really difficult to differentiate areas. I mean, this is beautiful, but I'm not going to be able to tell you what it looks like afterwards, because so far all of it kind of looks the same. I mean, even the road surface and the dirt is the same color. So this is the first part of what I would call mountains. Switched my camera cords, so hopefully this one will work. I think it might be a cord issue. Ran into a couple of guys from Wisconsin, or Michigan, but they are doing it as well, so they'll be behind me most of this, I would imagine. KLR and a T7, so they've been having fun. Sounds like they were planning on stopping at the end of section 1 tonight at one of the campgrounds or something that's there. It was a good little lunch though. It was Trent's Corner, grocery and gas station and whatever. That was about perfect. I can't read that. It's something campground. Oh, that's right, because this is Dismal Creek. God, the names of some of these places are so funny. How bad of a day did you have to name something Dismal Creek? See where they've had washouts on the roads. They've had to fill in the gaps with gravel. For days. That's all I've been in is tree tunnel. God, it is beautiful back here. Just every shade of green you can imagine. see how this road gets people in trouble. You get in one of these without expecting it. It wouldn't take much to either slide or go wide. There's deer. Got at least one buck. It's like a buck and a harem. Hey, ladies. Go left. That's a hell of a place. Stay on the road. Hello, Widowmaker. Good God. Let's not take the camera out. Hey, dear. Yeah, I can see why people screw this up. Speed is not necessarily your friend back here. Consistency is your friend. That's a big one. Come around that corner going fast. That would ruin you. It's actually pretty deep. I ended up on a crap line there. Alright, that's better. Why do they do this to roads? God, that's really bad. Going straight. Looks like this is opening up now. Oh, pavement. Okay. At some point here shortly, my cameras are going to start turning off because the memory card's being full. Hopefully this is the end of